A security guard was watching his CCTV monitors late one night at a local factory on the southeast coast of Asia. Things had been a bit weird lately, but when the security camera detected motion, things only got weirder. Knowing no one would believe him, he pulled out his phone to snap a photo of the disembodied entrails floating by. But it wasn't that security footage that frightened him the most, but what had shown up in the corner of the photo he just took. But before we begin, if you love cryptids and want to learn the full story, both the legends and the facts delivered as a narrative story, then this guided tour is for you. Spookily float on over and tap that subscribe, like, or review button, depending on where you watch or listen. Now, lock your doors and get ready. The tour is just about to start. I'm Cody, and you're touring cryptids across the Atlas. Off the coast of Southeast Asia rests the third largest island on Earth. At 288,000 square miles, which is about 20,000 miles bigger than Texas, and with elevation from sea level to peaks upwards of 13,000 feet, Borneo is a vast landscape with amazing spectacles to witness. This tropical wonder is largely covered in a variety of diverse rainforests. Its plant life varies from oaks, teak, and conifers, to amazing creatures like elephants, orangutans, and the clouded leopard. It's even home to the corpse flower, the largest and most putrid-smelling flower in the world. But if legends are true, this giant flower isn't the only corpse you might find in this Asian island oasis. Things have been a bit odd for the past year or so. Strange lights in the sky and weird noises in the night, these were becoming more and more common occurrences. Security guards at the local lemonade factory had started to grow accustomed to the out-of-place commotion, but on July 22, 2008, it became a lot harder to dismiss the strange activities they'd been witnessing. The overnight guard noticed the CCTV monitor alert him. Motion had been detected outside the factory. He glanced up, and when he saw it, he couldn't believe his eyes. Floating along the edge of the factory wall, next to the adjacent field, was what appeared to be a woman, or at least part of one. She had long dark hair hanging off of her angry, defined face, and dangling below where her neck should have been was nothing more than her esophagus tethered to her lungs, stomach, and intestines. She bobbed up and down in the night, emitting a sinister glow. The guard on duty, smitten with terror, pulled out his phone and snapped a photo to prove he wasn't crazy. I mean, this was just a thing from old tales passed down. It was just a story, wasn't it? No one would have believed him if he went back and told his family, friends, or co-workers that he had seen a Penanggalan. The Penanggalan is an ancient monster told generation to generation in many Asian cultures. Like the werewolf or even the Yaramayahu we covered a few weeks back, in Malaysian folklore, the Penanggalan is a creature that was once a normal person. It's said to be the product of a woman who has mastered the art of black magic. To become a Penanggalan, a ritual must be completed, where the witch would soak herself in a vat of vinegar while performing an entrancing meditation. Upon proper completion, her head, followed by her entrails, would slip out of her neck where she would be free to roam the night and feed on the menstrual drippings from fertile young women who had recently given birth. Hiding under her floorboards or bed frame, the Penanggalan would slip its long syringe-like tongue out from its mouth and siphon the blood from its victim. The blood bond then slowly drains the life from the mother, causing her to contract a form of chronic wasting disease while strengthening the Penanggalan. After the Penanggalan finishes her late-night snack, she gastily floats back to her home, where she then soaks her organs in vinegar, causing them to shrivel up. Then she drifts back into her body and locks her head back in place. Many versions of the Penanggalan have cropped up throughout history. Some claim it's a witch. Others say it's the result of a woman bartering with demonic entities. While others claim that a man walked in on a woman while she was bathing, and she jerked her head around so fast it caused her head to fly right off her shoulders, giving her the freedom to fly after him and hunt him down for vandalizing her privacy. But no matter which story is told, there's one thing everyone agrees on. This creature is not something you ever want to witness firsthand. The Penanggalan is like a weird fever dream. The idea that something this outlandish could be out there seems pretty unbelievable. Yet, even reaching into our modern age with smartphones and CCTVs, people claim these things have been witnessed. There are dozens of modern sightings across Southeast Asia as recent as 2017. Many of these sightings are more a strange light phenomena similar to many of our ghost lanterns and light orb tales. There, these occurrences are often accredited to the Penanggalan, given its supposed eerie nocturnal glow that can be seen from quite a distance. Superstitions have a way to trick us into conforming reality into our beliefs. Confirmation bias is a lot easier than scientific research. Take the whole floating orb thing. Many scientists have found instances of swamp gases that cause a similar strange spherical glow. Heck, I've seen some of this myself at our local ghost light location. When you know what you're looking at, it's pretty obvious. And then of course, there's ball lightning, the natural rarity when static electricity takes an orbital form and hovers over the Earth for upwards of around a minute or more. But can every occurrence of an orb of light be one of these two things? Maybe there's an answer out there we haven't yet nailed down. In the case of our overnight security guard, one scientist thinks he has the answer. Dr. Chauhan, a professor and expert in photography and video technology from Chulalongkorn University, reviewed the CCTV footage firsthand. And while he did verify that the footage was in no way tampered with or altered, he did notice something quite interesting. Dr. Chauhan hypothesized it was all a trick of the eye and our perception of lighting. With movement in the upper corner of the frame, a light source reflecting off the wet ground, and sitting next to an unkempt field, everything blurred together into that culturally familiar image. It makes sense when you frame it through that logic. But what doesn't make sense is what showed up in the photo our security guard took of the CCTV footage with his smartphone. Because on the edge of the photo, not only can you make out the Penanggalan, you can also make out the image of an old woman. But not just any old woman, it's an old woman the young man recognized. The woman he saw in his photo was none other than the old woman who lived in his village, the one they all thought might be a witch. But don't worry, she has since passed on, and with her passing, all the strange occurrences seem to have stopped. So if you ever find yourself wondering what that strange glow off in the distance is, or if you catch a subtle whiff of vinegar, and especially if you have recently given birth to a happy, healthy baby, keep an eye out for the Penanggalan. Oh, and hang some thorns around your doorways. They say that's the best way to keep it away. After all, if you were a floating sack of organs, getting caught in a thorn bush would be no laughing matter, even if you were quite literally busting a gut. This detour episode of Cryptids Across the Atlas was written by Cody Johnston with music by Braille Atlas. Join us next week as we trek through the Rocky Mountain National Park to feel the crisp, breezy Colorado air and catch a glimpse of the stunning mountaintop views. But be advised, I hear the land and its inhabitants might be a little unstable. If you love cryptids and want to learn even more about the creatures we just talked about, find us on TikTok or Instagram. Just search username @TheCryptidAtlas. By the way, the episode you just witnessed is both a podcast and YouTube video, so whichever format you prefer, we have you covered. Also, check out our interactive cryptid map to browse the globe and learn about cryptids from your favorite areas. Every single episode we make adds another pin to our map. You can find our social channels, the map, and more at thecryptidatlas.com. And when you find us, be sure to tap that follow button and get in on the action by dropping a comment on our recent videos. If you enjoy this show, consider sharing it on with a friend. And if you listen on Apple or Spotify, consider leaving an honest review to help other listeners know what to expect. Thanks for touring Cryptids Across the Atlas. Until next time, keep your eyes open. You never know what you might see just on the edge of the road.